The Last Jedi remains one of the most polarizing entries in the Star Wars saga. When I shared my perspective on Twitter, stating, 7 years ago, The Last Jedi, arguably the best Star Wars story, premiered. The irony? Its loudest critics missed the message. Sometimes heroes don't do what you expect, and true growth comes from not being stuck in the past. The response was swift and overwhelming. In the first 24 hours, it received over 35,000 impressions and more than 150 replies, mostly critical. What struck me wasn't just the disagreement, that's expected with a film as polarizing as The Last Jedi, but the sheer intensity of the backlash, much of it coming from people who don't follow me, had no prior context for my views, and seemed intent on reducing the conversation to insults and mischaracterizations. This reaction speaks to a broader issue within fandom discourse, the tendency for certain individuals to actively seek out and attack opinions they disagree with. I don't follow hashtags to argue with strangers about the movies or shows I don't like. If someone enjoys a piece of media that didn't resonate with me, I'm not inclined to tell them they're wrong or that their interpretation is invalid. Yet, as I've seen time and time again, The Last Jedi is treated differently. Perhaps the reason so many fans of the film are so vocal in defending it is because of how relentlessly it's attacked. For 7 years, it's been called a betrayal of Star Wars, its defenders labeled as shills or not real fans, and any positive discussion around it frequently hijacked by a chorus of criticism, often far more personal than substantive. The intensity of this vitriol, directed at a Star Wars movie, continues to baffle me. When I defend The Last Jedi, I'm not asking anyone to love it. I know it's not a perfect movie. Like many others, I have my critiques, pacing issues, some tonal mismatches, and the sidelining of Finn's arc. But for me, the film stands as a deeply resonant and thoughtful exploration of themes that are integral to the heart of Star Wars. Take Luke Skywalker's arc, for example. Critics often call it a betrayal, but I see it as the most heroic version of Luke we've ever seen. He faces his own failures, not by resorting to violence, but through self-sacrifice and cleverness. His decision to project himself across the galaxy, saving the Resistance without taking a single life, embodies what it means to be a Jedi. Luke's humanity, his flaws, doubts, and ultimate redemption, is not a rejection of his legacy, but a powerful continuation of it. Or consider the Rashomon-inspired storytelling surrounding Kylo Ren and Luke's falling out. The film presents multiple perspectives on a single event, reflecting the complexities of memory, perception, and blame. Kylo's belief that Luke betrayed him, Luke's own fleeting consideration of a dark option, and the nuanced truth between these two extremes add depth to both characters and elevate the narrative beyond simple good versus evil dynamics. These choices make The Last Jedi an ambitious, challenging piece of storytelling. It doesn't just rehash old ideas, but asks us to engage with the characters and the franchise itself in new ways. Ultimately, my goal in sharing my thoughts on The Last Jedi was not to change anyone's mind, but to explain why the film resonates with me and many others. What I didn't expect, though perhaps I should have, was the speed and intensity with which people descended on the tweet. This kind of reaction raises an important question. Why does The Last Jedi provoke such extreme responses, not just in dislike, but in the way its defenders are treated? I believe part of the answer lies in how fandom discourse has evolved. For many, it seems no longer enough to simply dislike a piece of media. There's a compulsion to seek out those who do like it and tell them they're wrong. It's not enough for critics of The Last Jedi to reject it. They feel the need to delegitimize anyone who defends it. This behavior is a symptom of something larger. Social media amplifies divisiveness, encouraging engagement through conflict. But it's also a reminder of why conversations like these matter. Stories resonate differently for everyone, and exploring those differences can enrich our understanding of not just the art, but each other. I don't expect to change anyone's mind about The Last Jedi. Art is subjective, and personal taste is deeply tied to our individual experiences. What I hope to do, however, is challenge the assumption that liking the film, or defending it, makes someone a shill or not a real fan. There are reasons The Last Jedi resonates with people, and those reasons are worth understanding. Similarly, I hope to encourage more thoughtful critiques. Disliking the film doesn't make someone a bad fan, but dismissing its defenders as blind or deluded shuts down the kind of meaningful discussions that fandom should foster.